Hey guys, Martin here, bringing another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so tomorrow, everybody's favourite game mode is coming back. That's right, not Petan Battle, but the World Tournament. So the global 50th World Tournament is coming tomorrow. It'll be out at 7:30 AM, basically the time that events normally come out, the time the World Tournament pretty much always starts. I will be doing my World Tournament Subathon weekend special event again. We won't be starting as soon as the World Tournament comes out. It'll be a couple of hours afterwards. Do check the stream schedule over in the Discord. Normally I like to start a little bit later because it lets me get my videos recorded and stuff ready to kind of schedule and go up while we're doing the stream throughout the day and just playing through the World Tournament. But this is one people have been looking forward to for quite a while, because you can see our boy right there in the banner art to announce the World Tournament. We are getting the Gohan, Tech High School Gohan EZA with this World Tournament. So go ahead and hit that like button on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. We're on the road to 30k subs. Really want to try and get to 30k by the end of the global anniversary. So do subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on all Dokkan battle info, gameplay, and so on and so forth. And yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at the units that we are getting with this World Tournament. So start off, we are getting a new LR EZA, which is of course the Yamcha and P. So these guys, their medals will be available with the Hercule signatures. If you're somebody who plays the World Tournament every time, and I've obviously already EZA'd Piccolo and Tien and Chaozu, you probably have enough of the signatures to just get these medals and EZA these guys straight away. That's probably one of the things I will do, and record that showcase in the morning before we start the World Tournament grind. But these guys definitely can be pretty good on a couple of different teams. They're not really locked to a specific team like a lot of Dragon Ball Saga characters often are. These guys raise attack and defense for one turn on both of their supers. They obviously do colossal and then mega colossal damage. Lower defense on the 12 key, massively lower on the 18 key. Not really a useful super attack effect anymore these days. If they could lower attack as well, that'd be quite nice, now that some bosses can be attack lowered. But they get 5 key, attack and defense 150 when performing a super, additional attack and defense 100% if it's an ultra super, so they can hit quite hard. They launch an additional attack that has a high chance to become a super, then they launch another attack that has a high chance to become a super when there's another joined forces ally in the same turn. So that's like the only sort of restriction they have, right, is if you have a joined forces ally in the same turn, they can get another super. Then they get extra defense but stun themselves if there's a Peppy Gals enemy, which very rare, not many events in the game with that. But then they get an additional key 3, attack 150 and a high chance to dodge when there are no Peppy Gals enemies. So that is most events in the game. So they already have 50% chance to dodge built in, bit of an attack buff. So yeah, these guys can be pretty good. Like teams like Bond of Friendship, Earthbred Fighters, obviously DB Saga, Dragon Ball Seekers, they're on worthy rivals. Like the teams that they're on are not really like any of the best teams in the game. I mean, Earthbred Fighters can obviously be very good. But they're not restricted, so like you can only run them on like DB Saga or Earthbred Fighters or something, right? So these guys can be pretty decent for a free-to-play LR EZA. So they are fresh with this World Tournament. Then we have the Tech Mr. BUU. Now this is the one I know a lot of people are really looking forward to, especially with Golden Week with the BUU Saga celebration. Like this guy is really, really good for the Int BUU team. He's another uniquely named BUU, so he works really nicely on that team without conflicting with any of the other characters. He greatly raises defense for one turn on super, does supreme damage to the enemy and lowers attack. So attack lowering, always nice. Then he gets attack and defense 120. Additional attack 120 when performing a super. He changes int orbs and key spheres of another type to rainbow, then gets attack and defense 50% and recovers 30,000 HP per rainbow key sphere obtained. But then the big one is he gets damage reduction 50% if you pick up 2 or more rainbow orbs, and then he gets an additional 10% for each rainbow orb obtained from the third one. So if you get 3, he's got 60%. If you get 4, he's got 70%. If you can somehow get the mythical 5 rainbow orb turn, then he would have 80% damage reduction. So obviously with greatly raising defense for the turn on his super, and then of course the fact that he's getting the attack and defense 50% per rainbow orb anyway, you then are getting a decent chunk of stats with some damage reduction. He's probably more of a floating unit for that BUU team, but he can be very, very good. So I know a lot of people really looking forward to getting this guy EZA'd and having him on the BUU or BUU Saga teams. And then we have the boy High School Gohan. So this guy, I think they had the potential to make him insane, like one of the best free-to-play units potentially, which I feel like he was kind of at that level when he originally got his TUR Awakening. but they didn't go all out with him with this EZA. He's still very good, but he greatly raises attack and raises defense for 1 turn, does supreme damage, medium chance to stun, attack and defense 158, then an additional attack and defense 58% when performing a super, damage received, damage reduction 58%, super class 3 key, attack and defense 30%, and then an additional attack and defense 58%, and reduces the attacked enemy's attack by 20% for 2 turns when facing an extreme class enemy. So he's a super class support unit with damage reduction, is raising defense on super. I mean, I guess like if they wanted to make him absolutely crazy, like the defense for the turn could have been greatly raised. Maybe giving him a way to get a bit of extra damage reduction if you picked up a certain number of orbs or something. Because the problem with this guy, 58% damage reduction is obviously very good. But being a free-to-play unit, free-to-play stats, like his post-super defense, it's definitely not like, it's not terrible. But with the damage, the defense that he has after supering and then 58% damage reduction, it doesn't cut it against like the biggest boss super attacks. But realistically, units that are 3rd slot floating support units are never really designed to be the units that are just going to be tanking supers to the face left and right. So this guy is very good. He's a very welcome support unit for teams like Super Saiyans, Bond of Parent and Child, like Hybrid Saiyans. Like there's a couple of these teams that are lacking some really good floating support units, and he makes a nice buff for those teams, so he's definitely very good. Then we have this Super Saiyan Vegeta. He greatly raises attack and defense, supreme damage, greatly lowers defense and seals. Attack and defense 150, another 100% to both when performing a super. He gets an additional 1 key up to 5 and 20% attack up to 100 with each attack received. He has a great chance to guard and a chance to perform a crit 15% up to 60 with each attack received when there is another Mastered Evolution category ally in the same turn. Now that is all not separated by any extra punctuation, so the great chance to guard is when there's a Mastered Evolution ally in the same turn. And stuff like that is annoying. Like if you have to run a specific category character ally and they have to be in the same turn, then realistically it should be guaranteed guard. But unfortunately it's then only a great chance to guard. And unfortunately, kind of with the High School Gohan situation, his post-super defense isn't going to be anything like super crazy. So if he gets the guard, that's all well and good, but he's still potentially going to be taking damage. And then, of course, if he doesn't get the guard, then he's potentially going to be in a bit of trouble. So this guy, unfortunately, I mean, it feels like every time we get these World Tournament EZAs, like at least one of them always kind of feels like a bit of a dud. And unfortunately, that's this guy, right? He's just got a very specific restriction. Even in his best performing turn, he's not going to be super great. He's an all types leader, which is cool for like link leveling or battlefield or something, but unfortunately not so great. And then the DB Saga EZA is the Jackie Chun, in Jackie Chun. Unfortunately, with these World Tournament EZAs, you get extra copies of these guys by doing the missions for getting a certain number of wins and a certain number of wins in a row. As long as you do those, you can get 2 copies of all of these guys. So if you don't have them at all, there's 2 copies. If you were missing 1 or 2, there's them rainbowed. And then if you have them rainbow like me, but you want to change their hidden potential now that they've got their EZA, you get 2 extra copies to do that for free. So that's very nice. Whereas this guy, he's only available from the DB Saga ticket banner, which is pretty terrible. So if you don't have this guy, it's going to be very difficult to get him. Unfortunately, the DB Saga EZAs, none of them have really been super good, and they're all very limited with the teams that they're on and everything as well. Like this guy greatly raises attack for 1 turn, does supreme damage and seals, but no defense raise on super. Key 2, attack and defense 100% start of turn, then 100% when performing a super. He has a low chance to dodge, which is 10%, plus an additional attack 30% up to 150 and chance to dodge 20 up to 60 with each attack received. So once he's received, what, 3 attacks, then he'd have 70% chance to dodge. But it's one of those terrible units where he has to get hit in order to build up the ability to be good defensively. So in any events that hit relatively hard straight from turn 1, he's just not going to be very good. He survives KO attacks when HP is 10% or above. So if he's only getting hit once and you're above 10% HP, he will always survive. But of course, surviving KO attacks means you're on 1 HP, and then if there's any other attacks in the rest of the turn, unless it gets dodged or is like a super that gets countered, then you're going to die, because obviously there's no way to take 0 damage outside of like negations and stuff, right? So a little bit unfortunate. this guy definitely could have been a little bit better. I remember him being relatively good when he came out, but obviously nothing really special at the moment, unfortunately. There is also actually, I guess we could just open the Shattering the Limit page. There is the Awakening for the World Tournament Shen as well. But I think because they're not giving out new World Tournament cards, they're giving Awakenings to these older ones, but they're not like giving ways for you to get extra copies of them. So I don't think there's any way in this World Tournament, apart from unless he's on that banner, the ticket banner, I don't think there's any ways to get extra copies of him. But he greatly raises attack and defense of 1 turn, supreme damage, high chance to stun, attack and defense 150, seals the enemy, high chance to dodge. I mean, instantly before his EZA, just from reading these first couple of lines and his super attack effect, he's better than Jackie Chun. So chance to evade, plus 10% with each attack evaded up to 20%. So you can get an extra 20% after he's got 2 dodges. Chance to dodge, plus 20%, and attack and defense 150 is the first attacker in a turn. Additional attack and defense 150 is the second attacker. Launches an additional attack, there's a great chance of becoming a super within the turn. And an additional attack 100% for 3 turns when evading an attack. So if you really want to take the risk, like he can end up getting a large amount of dodge in slot 1 and getting a whole bunch of extra buffs, including extra attack and an additional super if he dodges an attack in slot 1. But the problem is going to be, of course, start of turn slot 1, his defense isn't going to be very good. So that's a huge risk to take if you try and do that. But obviously he can be okay for a free-to-play unit, but he's another one of these characters. I mean, look at the teams that he's on. He's got the DB Saga links, and then he's on World Tournament, Realm of Gods, Earthbred Fighters, and Tournament Participants. So he's not exactly on a ton of relevant teams or anything either, so a little bit disappointing. These two are going to be the main focus, I think, for a lot of people, Mr. BUU and STR High School Gohan. These guys are very good as well. So let me know your thoughts on the units down below in the comments. What are your plans for this World Tournament? Are you going to be getting the bare minimum done, like the 30 million points, 30 wins, get those missions done and then stop? Or are you going for a particular high bracket? I normally try and end in at least the top 1,000 just to get enough of the medals to keep EZAing all of these World Tournament cards. But let me know what your plans are. Like I say, I will be live all over the weekend, basically. It will be 24 hours in total spread across 3 streams, as long as we keep hitting the goals for the subathon. Bunch of bonus stuff we do as we hit each of the milestones on the streams. We do randomizer runs against certain bosses, races against viewers live via the Discord, all sorts of cool stuff. So hopefully I will see you guys at some point over the weekend for the subathon festivities. So that is going to be it for the video. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments, all your thoughts on World Tournament and your plans for this particular one this time around. So this has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, check out the links down below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.